We're focusing on a few spaces to allow ourselves to really anchor our wholeness. So, first off, we're going to allow ourselves to make note of perception. Because remember, perception is reality. And just because the perception has been one thing for many for a long time, it doesn't need to stay in that space. And that is a really big part of what this group is all about. That's what we've realized all along, that we're being the new human. So why would we do what the old human did? Even perceptionally, how we view spaces, that's going to set the stage, right? That's going to set the stage, if you will, for the experiences we have in that time frame. So perceptionally, keep why would I mention this way? Because you're in charge of your perceptions. Allow perception to be examined, if you will. I did a audio link called I don't actually remember the exact title, but it was about perceptions. It was about lenses that we look through, and many times we can not realize that we've been looking through a lens of the past. So as you look at a new space with an old eye, you're not going to see the new. You're only going to see the old. And so allowing yourself to just do that perceptions check, that lens check, that's huge. Now, I have two more P's for you. So we're doing the three P's today. So we're doing perception, check the perception, and then we're going to do presence. I'm talking about the biggest gift of all, and that is your ability to be present, to be in the now space of the experience, and to remember you're in charge of the perception of that experience. See, these are hooking together, okay? So we've talked about all of these, right? But we're just allowing our consciousness, our beings to be present with us now because you're at a different space than anytime you ever heard this before. And everybody around you is at a different space. They really are. Even the ones that you may perceive as not moving, because everybody has them. I get the emails, believe me, I can speak for everybody here. Allowing yourself to be really present and to know that everything, every single space, every person, every event, every experience is a wave of consciousness in the field. Remember, we talked about that. You're an individual wave, I'm a wave, but we're all in this beautiful field of consciousness, the whole. And all these people, whether they're moving or not moving, or experiences or jobs or whatever it is, are other spaces. And it's all in flow. That's a perception in itself that's very empowering. Allowing yourself to move into your presence more allows you to see that and allows you to navigate from that understanding. And that allows you to really not feel as if everything is so big in the now moment, because you're remembering your eternal moment more. You're coming from your wholeness more, and that changes the perceptual experience, the view, all of it. It really does. We used to think that the vantage point changed how you like viewed it, but it also changes how you feel it, because that's a really big part of this. And if you are reminding yourself of your wholeness as that wave, and all of the other things and people and places and events as other waves, but all one big field, if you are coming from your wholeness, allowing presence, your being to be fully present and aware, and you are checking the perception is your wholeness, that it's not just your now line, but you're really looking at it from your wholeness. And we're going to go a little deeper in that with an exercise later. But what happens is you start to be able to read the energies better. And I had to pluralize that, if that's correct wording here. I had to put the IES on energy, because I started to say, read the energy. But then I thought, oh my goodness, there's so many energies. There's so many choices. There's so many things happening. There can be love and gratitude as much as there can be somebody or something present in the experience that's angry or depressed or anxious or sad, or there can be joy as much as there can be sorrow. So all of these are in the field. And when you're in an experience or your own thoughts, or preparing to go to a space of connection in some way with family or friends or whatever it is, job interview, it doesn't even have to be a holiday, right? But when you're in that space of wholeness, that allows you then to read the energies from there, which means you've just opened up yourself to the potentials of all the energies in the field. So if the space in the now was daunting in any way, and you stayed in the now perception and stared at the dauntingness, that is what energy you would connect with. And that would be a creator choice. Because you have the choice to let yourself come back from the now into the whole, and you have that presence, that perceptual viewpoint check, and then you start sensing. You start feeling beyond the daunting, because there's more out there besides the daunting. There's more in the room, there's more in the car, there's more wherever you are. It's a field of energy. So it's beyond even seeing the people that are there, or the arguments that are happening, or the joy that's taking place. If you can do that, it's an incredibly powerful moment, because all of the people, the events, the moments, they all turn to energy waves in your mind. That's one way you can do this. Okay, listen, you're in wholeness, and you're perceiving the space. Now, yes, you may be sitting on the couch in Aunt Betty's living room. I get that. But you're allowing yourself to remember the wholeness of you is there on the couch with you, and that you can read the space. And in that moment, you allow yourself the conscious creator space. So I had a moment this morning. I was behind a woman in a drive-through. She was in a minivan packed with family, I think. It would look, I saw 2 car seats. There were a lot of heads. It was tinted windows in the back, but I could see, you can see the heads in the car. And she had her window down and her front too. And they were not having a good morning. And it was loud, and she was yelling, and then the kid was screaming. I mean, like really screaming. And at first I was just in my own world, doing my phone, putting along in the drive-through, waiting to get around the corner. And so I wasn't really paying attention, but then I keyed in. I became what? Present. And I started to read the space. And what do you think I did? Most of you know me well enough. You know what I did. I began to send them Acasma healing energy. And so I'm here in this drive-through behind this woman in a minivan with kids screaming, and she's yelling, and I could see her in her mirror, and she would get on her phone every now and then. I could see her face, and I was trying not to look like, I didn't want to be the woman that's being nosy or something. I only wanted to send love and assist it if I could, that's all. So anyways, I was present enough to be aware of all of the energies, because the energies in my car this is a fun flip here for you guys. Watch this. The energies in my car were lovely. I was at peace. I was on my phone. I was getting messages from many of you, and I was making things for today's class. I was at peace, but I allowed myself to be present enough to read the space. And as I read the space, I found her and her children, and they were very upset. And I think the one child in the back was just not having it, and from the cries, it sounded like they were 4, maybe somewhere around there. So I just kind of held my phone in my one hand, because I wanted to look, like I was just doing my phone, and I wasn't going to go like this at her car, and start doing symbols and stuff. So I just held my phone in my hand, and I put my other hand, like, how I love to do my left hand for my anchor. And I just said Acasma flow. And I started visualizing her root center and blessing. If she wanted it, didn't have to take it, but just offering it, blessing her root center, blessing her root lines, anchoring her. Then I started doing the little kid that was screaming, and I just put love around their vehicle. And I'm not making this up. It was so beautiful. Within just about 3 minutes or so, I'm in a drive-through, they were so backed up, and they never really are either. So I was like, this is because this woman's supposed to get an energy session, I think. Anyways, the kid quieted down, never cried again after that space. And they were in front of me for quite some time yet. And the mom, didn't note a massive difference on her face. I could see her in her mirror, but I did notice calm, like there was no more screaming. She wasn't yelling, the child wasn't screaming. And I felt and saw in my being like beings of light around her car, like her team was able to come in. And I think it was the vibrational shift of the space offered a door to where there could be some connection, because that's what we do with our work. Yes. So I was present and I read the energies. You can work this any way you want. You can have a space where your particular experience may not be the peaceful one, but in the space around you or beyond it is limitless potential. You're in the field. You are the field. So at any moment, you have the ability, and that's the creator. And that's, we're moving into on a new level of understanding with the consciousness. Used to be you made a vision board, right? You cut out a bunch of pictures from a magazine, the car you wanted, the house you wanted, the kids, the whatever your thing was, trips, whatever, right? Everybody know, most people have made a vision board at one point in their life or seen somebody who has. But we're being asked, when we have the ability to go into the next level of vision boards, because the vision board is the field and the vision board is the mind and the heart, and you are the creator. You have the glue stick and the scissors and the magazines of limitless pictures of whatever it is, right, in your hands, in your being, if you will, at all times. As you function through everyday life, it's your vision board. Move it around. If that thing that shows up on the vision board in the experience isn't in alignment with what you feel as a creator you have in store for you, you want for you, then gently, or not so, whatever works for you, pull that little picture off, right? It's just tacky glue. You could do it. And then put it to the side, bless it, and feel into the field and align, pick up a new picture and put it in, put some glue on it. Little love. Glue is presence. Glue is perception. Glue is your anchoring of alignment, the picture, the energetic alignment, the space in which you'd rather see. For me, I'm in line behind a woman with this issue, this thing happening, right? And I chose to take off the anger and frustration that was going on in the vehicle. And I chose to bring in a new picture of peace and make it available. And I'm a part of the reality in a sense, because I'm right there with them and I'm hearing it, I'm feeling it, I'm seeing it. So I have a connection of some kind, if you will. I'm in the presence of the space, yes? And this is even bigger. This could be a whole thing on itself, and it's powerful because it's how we really are creating the new earth. But we have this ability. And I started to imagine like Jesus walking and somebody touching the hem of his gown and receiving healing. And not that I'm Jesus, but what I was saying was, you know, he was just present. And he knew who he was, and he had that consciousness of the I am within and no separation. So everywhere that he went, if there was a need, it was accommodated accordingly. Does that make sense to you? And so that's what I kind of started to picture. And, you know, like I told you, many of you know this with me, is in the very beginning of my life, in this lifeline as Andrea, I would always say, why don't people do what Jesus did? I just don't understand. Why aren't people walking around offering healing? It doesn't make any sense. We can do this. He said we could do this. Why aren't we doing it? Okay. So like, I kind of see like this teaching of perception and presence and coming from your wholeness. And I feel like it's connected to becoming this space of ourselves. Yes. So allow that as in here as well. It's kind of a caveat, but there's your consciousness. My consciousness is wrapping our beings around it, and we're anchoring it into this now. So there's one more P today. I said you had 3 Ps, right? So you have perception, you have presence, and I ask that you contemplate having patience. Contemplate having patience. Patience, one, with yourself, first and foremost with you, that in the now moment, if you feel the energy of the space, because remember, in the now moment, the focus energy that you grab is going to be, it can be kind of like an in your face right? Because you're in the now. If you're not present, you're in the, if you're at present, you're in the now. But if you're fully present, your wholeness is in the now. That's the very big understanding. So first and foremost, patience for yourself, that you allow yourself a moment to observe, have that awareness, and consciously check perception. If you find yourself on a phone call where somebody's saying, I can't believe you're not coming, what? Like, how can you do that? Have patience with yourself. First you. Then, because you gave it to you, what do we know? We can't give what we don't have. So because you gave yourself patience, what are you able to then do? Give it to somebody else. Give it to the experience. Give it to the situation. And in essence, if you're coming from the wholeness, if you're coming from the clarity of your creator, wave of light, wave of the field, limitless potential being, you have all the patience in the world, if that's where you're coming from. Because what do we know about that space of you? It's eternal. You got time. Don't gotta fight the time. You don't gotta rush it. You don't gotta be angry with it. You don't gotta force it. If somebody's not getting it to the space you're getting, if in your perception, right? We got to add that in if we're going to be conscious. If someone's not where we are in that moment, patience from the wholeness, patience from the creator space allows us to provide room, provide space, not only for ourselves, not only for the experience, but for the other individual, if there is one, or for the thought process that is being redone, if it's our own mind we're having a moment with. But patience, you can do this. You're eternal. You have the ability, the time to be patient. All right. I love you all. Mwah. Blessings upon you, Divine One. Blessings. All right. I'll see you later, guys. Have an amazing now.
Thank you.